Hi, good evening everyone. A very warm welcome to our Chair of Council, members of Council, heads of the school, parents, students. A very warm welcome to our debut parent engagement evening. We're calling it Be a Part of the Conversation, and you'll start to see this theme come through more and more, so you'll start to see a lot more correspondence on that. My name is Logan Govender. I'm a member of Council and have been since 2015. I currently sit on the Finance Committee, and I also chair the Diversity and Transformation Committee of the school. The last time we were here, Stuart, I think it was about a year ago, we had about 80 people, so I'm not one to miss an opportunity when we have a bigger audience to just share with you where we currently are in our diversity process. I'm going to keep it short because we're here to listen to Prof and not me, so I'm just going to share with you very quickly. Around about 2016, when we started this process, we realized that there were certain building blocks that we needed to set into the process if we were going to create sustainability and lay a great foundation for diversity and transformation in the school. The first one, and probably the most important, is that the leadership of the school, being both council and management of the school, had to be fully behind the process. We needed to come together, work together, and find commonality and purpose. And we also realized that this process wasn't going to work unless we had all stakeholders in the process working towards a common purpose. And it had to be underpinned by a very comprehensive diversity and transformation policy. And beyond that, the implementation of that diversity and transformation policy had to have an implementation plan that was deliberate but yet measured. We're finding, particularly in this polarized country at the moment, we had to have a method of doing this that was unifying rather than divisive. So an integrated approach where we work as a combined, united team is absolutely paramount to the success, particularly in the way the school is currently configured. So roughly 2 years down the line, where do we find ourselves? We've got a school management and council that's fully behind the diversity and transformation process in the school. We've got a diversity and transformation committee as a subcommittee of council that includes the various stakeholders. They include members of council, parents, teachers, students, that all have a vital input into drafting the diversity and transformation policy. We had a diversity and transformation policy that was approved by council in the middle of 2017, and that policy is essentially goal statements. We've set out 8 goal statements around how we can have an end state of where we'd like the school to look at, what the school to look like. I must confess that 2 years down the line, or roughly slightly more, I think that part was the easy part. As we move into the next stage, and you can understand the enormity of the task of having to have an implementation plan that brings the consultation process with the various stakeholders into is a really big task. How we've decided to break that down is we've set up 11 focus groups. We think that the engagement with the parents, particularly in the education process, is probably one of the most important steps we need to incorporate. And we've got a parent education and engagement group. We also have a legal group, because much of the work that's going to happen in these focus groups is going to translate into review of policies and processes. And we have a legal, and we've also brought in a religious diversity, because there are aspects of inclusivity that we need to consider. So that's how we get to the 11 groups. So we started about these groups about roughly a year ago, and the work is earnest. It's difficult. We spend an inordinate amount of time, both the heads and the members of the diversity committee and the various members of those committees, particularly after hours. We meet. We have often challenging discussions, but we know that if our intention is to create a modern, inclusive school which produces excellent girls that contribute meaningfully to our collective futures, it is something that we have to do. It's a school that we wish to create, to use the words of Prof's book, a school where all parents, all teachers, and all students have a sense of belonging. And you'll hear that theme coming through consistently as we move forward. We're trying to create an inclusive school. We're trying to create a school where all those people have a sense of belonging. Tonight's function actually is a function of that process. We have the parent education group that I referred to a little bit earlier. They're rather an energetic bunch. We get a fair amount of emails and WhatsApp messages from that group. It comprises at the moment 4 representatives from the Preparatory School Parents Association, 2 representatives from the Senior School Preparatory Parents Association. Stuart, Lynn, myself sit on that committee, and it's chaired by Dr. Jacques de Wet, who's currently overseas, and I'm sitting as the alternate chair on that committee. So it was important for our first event that we connected diversity to an educational imperative, and that's why we've decided to design tonight's evening where we have 2 old girls, Ruby and Stephanie, that will speak to us about their experiences and how they have either prepared or not prepared them for life outside Herschel. And we have probably the foremost authority on education in the space in Professor Jansen to give a keynote address. And I'm going to pose some questions to him. After that, questions that you've submitted to us. And Stuart and Lynn will close tonight's evening.